Okay. Hi, guys. Welcome to my podcast. Thank you for joining. I'm joined by Maxwell, Deja, Kumari, and of course me. But today we're just talking about when artists go mainstream and when different forms of art goes mainstream. So the first question we're going to start with is, do creative artists have an obligation to stay connected to their roots? Like
I don't
if they want to do another thing with their career, like get into makeup or get into fashion, do you think they have the right to do that? Or do you think they should just stay with music?
I think they do have the right to do that, especially looking at music as an aspect of business. You want to always branch out your empire, quote unquote. So once you do that, not only do people only know you for music, but they know you for other things as well. So I think it's perfectly fine if they branch out and try to have their own little empire.
I agree. I think it is good that they branch out because by just sticking to music, you're not reaching your full potential and you don't know what you're capable of. You could make a difference in the music industry, but you could also make a difference in other industries too. Like
Hmm.
what Rihanna's doing with her makeup line and introducing more makeup that is dedicated to different skin tones, or what she's doing with fashion. So you never know what you can do to help make a change in other fields.
I agree, and especially when that money is coming from their music. Like for example, speak on a topic of Rihanna, her most of her income did come from like partnerships and her music. So the fact that she's using that money to incorporate it and build her own like empire, I guess, to help other people is like for us by us type stuff.
Hmm.
So because she's using her money to help other people also by capitalizing off of that, it's like a win-win in a certain situation, because it's like you're getting that money from music, and not only are you doing that, you're not using it for yourself, but using it for how to benefit your people. And by doing that, that shows that you really do look out and care for other people, because you're making something that wasn't for us happen.
Yeah.
And I would say also, like, even like kind of similar to what Max was saying, like these people who were doing music first, like they started doing music, like we were listening to their songs when we were younger, and now they're kind of like in the back, not music is not their main thing anymore. They're like supporting younger artists, like up and coming artists, though, like by them just like putting their money into producing or creating a clothing line. Like they're backing people who have those same inspirations that they did when they were coming up. So it's like it's so helpful because it's like now we're getting a whole new generation of creators, of freaking artists and makers. And it's like it's fun to just see that cycle.
Hmm.
hmm And not only that, I feel like we as people, we're so used to seeing people in one light. For example, like you said, for artists, we're so used to seeing them only making music and not anything else. So I feel like people should be able to do whatever they want to, because they're people at the end of the day and they have different interests other than the one that we're normally used to seeing them, pursuing, which is music. So like with Rihanna, who knows? Maybe music was her step in the door to what she actually wanted to do, which was like, you know, fashion and makeup and beauty and all of that. So I feel like we as people just have to shatter those boundaries of, box people in one thing that we are, typically seeing them in.
I agree. And it's like these artists don't owe us anything. It's like
Exactly.
it's
Hmm.
either you like what they produce or you don't like what they produce. And if you don't like what they produce, just move on and it's not for you. But it may be generated towards other audiences who may have the same interests as that artist.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and to add on, when I was talking to my friend Christian, he wants to be a lawyer. So I was talking to him about the whole Kim Kardashian wanting to be a lawyer, like how that started a huge discussion in the country. Because Kim Kardashian wanted to be a lawyer, everyone looked at her as a person who was for beauty, for fashion, for her line, for makeup. but they never saw, like, it's kind of reversed. They never saw her going into the law industry or or the corporate industry. So because of that, people were like, oh, you can't do that because you're not known for that. Oh, you can't be in the White House because you're not known for being in a political mindset or a political view. And it's funny because her father was one of the best lawyers in the country. And he even was, I think one of the biggest cases in America was the case with I forgot his name.
O.J. Simpson.
O.J. Simpson. Like, her father was actually one of the lawyers in court with him. So it's like, you know how, for example, let's say that my mom's a nurse. So my sister wanted to be a nurse because she sees that my mother's a nurse, her mother is a nurse.
Mhm.
So it's right for her to say, oh, I want to be just like my mom and become a nurse too. It's like, why can't Kim Kardashian do that? Because her father is in law, but people don't look at her as a person. They don't look at her as a human being. They're saying, oh, because you're just known for looking pretty on social media, you can't be smart as well. You can't be
Yeah.
in the political sense. And it doesn't make any sense because she's human just like us. And if she was influenced by her father's career, why can't she be influenced by her father's career? Why does she have to step back, and why does she have to limit herself?
And I feel like by these,
I'm gonna say one thing about that, just to bring some little controversy. I feel like, especially with Kim Kardashians or like the Kardashians in general, I feel like a lot of people probably have backlash because even me, I laughed at that when you said it, like her being a lawyer, like that's funny because it's like people like that, she had reality TV shows. You see more of her life than you see like other celebrities. Like there's a lot of celebrities who keep their lives very, very private. It's like you only see from them what you want them to see. With her, you see everything, regardless of what she wants you to see and what she doesn't want you to see. And the same thing with her husband Kanye. It's like we heard a lot of his thoughts, and that's why even when they were like Kanye for president, I was like, no, not Kanye for president, because are you hearing his mindset? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like when you get to learn someone in that light, where you're like knowing more about their personal views, and you're not only just seeing like what they produce, you're not just looking at her photos on Instagram, you're also learning about her life and her family's life, and then the people that she associates herself with. That would make me be like, yeah, girl, do not do that. Like the brain isn't fully there, or like you need to go through full training, or you need to like expand your political views before you take that position. That's what I would say. So it's like for certain celebrities, it's like, okay, I maybe you have a different interest, but others it's like, no, that's just not right for you. Like, yeah, you got the money, but it's just like, just don't.
I feel like it is the money too, and like the fame that make her step into these big courts and stuff and get things pushing, you know? I feel like she's using like her fame. Sometimes she uses her fame to spread light on something, and then she gets in the same, even though people hate it, I know what she's doing. Because it's like, how are you in office with Donald Trump trying to get your way? Because even though we don't like, because the thing is, when you don't like authority, and when you try your best to change something, and you know the authority is not going to do it, the only way to change is to get in contact with authority. It doesn't matter like if you, like if a person were to screen, like to take a picture of her and Donald Trump together, I was going to be like, why are you in that room with that man? Feel me? But because she's getting in contact with authority to get her way, to help us get our way, that's how you do stuff around here. Like you have to make sure you are able to be in authority's room and tell them about themselves and tell them, oh, can you switch this, can you do this? Because they're not going to listen to you if you're not in the same room. So I feel like I know what she's doing, but yeah, I do agree that she probably needs more training and stuff like that, which is probably why she's taking like the baby bar and stuff. She's doing her own like law because it looks like she's serious about it. But I do understand what you're saying, Deja.
Yeah, I get what you're saying too, Deja, and I kind of agree. It's like I don't mind. I don't. I think that artists should be free to like venture out, but just make sure you're doing it for the right reasons and make sure you're educated
Mm-hmm.
on that particular thing.
And also to add on, Malaysia, also make sure you get the proper education for it. Because people like, for example, her, I don't really know how she's training for it, but I saw a little bit like on like Instagram, and she was like just doing training with some like an actual lawyer. And I thought you had to go to school for that. So I don't know. If you're gonna do it, make sure you do it the proper way as well.
Yeah.
That she's doing the hardest way.
She
It's
is.
the mm-hmm.
Um,
It's like it's like you know, accommodations for schools. You know, like how celebrities, they go to Harvard, for example, and they have accommodations. That's basically what she's doing. So people think that it's easier, but it's actually super hard
I
because
don't
they
know.
do it on their own time and they have to do all that stuff. I saw it on TikTok though, so but I know that she's doing it the right way, but it's just the way that you're not, it's not really, I mean, her life is way different than ours. So obviously it's gonna be way different learning about that in her way.
Like, shouldn't you have a reason for doing it? What are you doing it for? Like, for example, with Kim Kardashian, what are you really being the lawyer for? Do you want to do it to change the justice system? Do you want to do it to help minorities who have been wrongfully accused of doing things and who just, who the system doesn't pertain to, it doesn't help them? Do you want to do it for that? Always have I feel like you should always have a reason for doing something before you decide to make that jump or that leap, whether it's to help you grow or is whether it's to help someone else. I feel like you should always have a reason to do it, and I feel like they just don't have a reason to do it. They just want to do it because for
You
reason.
never know. She may do it because she has Black children, so you never know. You never know
I
her
see a
reason.
trend, like with the people that she helps out, they're usually minorities that
Mm,
are on death row, or they never had another hearing. And that's the trend that I see because it's all over the news. Like me, I don't really like the Kardashians like that. Like I don't even follow them on Instagram. I used to, but after that, like George Floyd thing, I was like, okay, y'all all done. But what I do see on like the headlines, because I do read the news on my phone. I read the news all the time, and I look at TikToks and I just hear about them. So when I hear like Kim Kardashian is doing a hearing for so and so, or trying to make sure that they get another hearing, or to make sure that they're not on death row or they get out of death row, I see that pattern. So I think she's doing it for like minorities who don't like have a say. I know that the biggest one that happened was when she got that woman out of, she was like, she had drugs on her and she wasn't able to have another hearing and she was sentenced to life. She got her out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I agree with Kamara. She probably does it because like she has Black children and she may not be a minority herself or feel like a minority herself, but she understands that she is in a family and her own family is a part of a minority. So she probably is obligated or feel like she's obligated to do so.
Yeah,
Or it just aligns with her morals.
I get that.
Yeah.
and we have seen that family cry one too many times, so they probably do feel for our community. But then again, you don't know. It's
Yeah, you
social
never know.
media. It's what
Yeah,
you see
Mm-hmm.
off the media. So
that is true. Maybe she
You
recorded to
never
say that.
know.
All right. So with that being said, I think that was a good note to end that question off with. Um, so when a subcultural art form goes mainstream, have those artists sold out? Like when an artist changes their style, do you think that they are betraying the people who were originally interested in that style?
Um,
you know what? Let me just answer this in the way I can like answer it.
Yeah, go ahead.
I feel like an artist should be free of any backlash or like any commentary, whatever it is, when it comes to them creating. Like, for example, Little Nas X. I know he's a very controversial person, but
Mhm.
he's also a creative. He's a person that, not a lot of people like him because he started off with, making music that didn't have curse words. So people kind of tied him along with kids music, or he had a target market for kids. That's what a lot of people were saying. When he started making more music targeted towards his life and about how he is as a person and coming out as a gay Black man, now it's, oh, how are you gonna create this music for the children? And now you're making music kind of confuse them and all this BS. I feel like it's like a bunch of BS, honestly. Um, an artist should be able to create however they wanted to create. There's going to be a lot of people who don't agree with it, but honestly, who cares? Wait, who gives a fuck? I feel like an artist should be able to do whatever they want. Like with him, if the parents feel like they betrayed them because their children are now listening to him and his new music that's coming out, and that is tainting their brains and filling up their brains with like the gay agenda that they like to, you know, they think is a real thing. I feel like it's so stupid of them.
Mhm.
Honestly, you're not betraying anyone. He never came out saying he's a kids bop artist. He never came out saying he's working for Disney Channel or a Nick Jr. or something. He never said that. He's an artist. He should be able to make whatever he wants. And like you were saying as well, like just going back to like with Rihanna, a lot of people they didn't like that. Now she's moving to more so the business world rather than music. They feel like they're betraying because like the music. I know she's been saying that she wants to put out an album since January 2020. It's 2020. It's about to be 2022. So I feel like an artist should be able to do whatever they want and free of judgment and free of people saying, "Oh, you need to do this." No, if they want to do something else or pursue a different lifestyle, they should be able to do that. And also, me and Malaysia, we were talking about this like prior to the meeting.
Mhm.
I was saying that, you know, many artists, they follow the path of what they need to do in order to get to the life that they want. And then that's when they change it up to like the, you know, when they're in that spot of like the power and the fame and, you know, the glory and whatnot, that's when they change and like, you know, they change up the system a little bit. Like, for example, I'm using Lil Nas X a lot, but when have you ever seen in our life a gay black artist that's as popular as him, that's changing up the rap game? You don't
Exactly.
see that. And what did he take? Like you saw the stuff that he did to get there. He did pop music, which is typical. There was no problems. And when he made it at the top, that's when he changed it a bit. And he's changing like the rap game. He's changing the hip hop game. He's just changing what a celebrity's life typically is. Like it's filled with misogynistic men. It's filled with um, a whole bunch of issues. It's filled with racism. It's filled with all these issues. So seeing these celebrities go into those like, how do I explain it? Seeing the celebrities get there and then changing up is just amazing to me. For example, Megan Thee Stallion. When have you ever heard someone say, "I'm a rapper, but I'm also in college"? That's not typical that you really hear someone do that. So just seeing stuff like that and like how these people are changing up, just like what we used to see, because it's completely different now. It's been different for a while. It's amazing, and I feel like if someone feels betrayed because of that, maybe they need to fix their mindset.
So I want to say, like, good thing that you brought up about pop. I was listening to a podcast the other day by Denzel and Ricky, and they were literally saying that, like, in order for musicians or artists in general to make it in this industry, they have to freaking make whatever their music, their art apply to like all types of people. Like every
Mhm.
artist, your favorite artist, they've had a pop phase, and for me, I don't really like pop. I'm not a pop girl. The white girls like that, and that's okay. And it's like even what Kamari was saying about Little Nas X, where it's like he was doing kids music and then he changed over into whatever. And it's like for me, when an artist I love, they start making a genre of music that I necessarily don't like, it doesn't mean, it just means that I'm not listening to that song. Like that's literally all it means. Like you just literally don't have to listen. But it's like artists realize like even if it's not their first idea of what they want to do, they know that they have to at least try different things because then that can help them discover something else that they never even knew. And I feel like even back to the question in Malaysia about like when a subculture then becomes like mainstream, I feel like it's not them betraying their roots, but it's more so allowing their roots now to be celebrated. Like for example, like when we hear Nigerian and Ghanaian music,
Mhm.
it's like, at least for me, that's not, those are not my origins, those are not my roots, but it's like I love that music and I love that people who, international students who are at the school, when that music does come on, they're not like, nah, don't do the dance with us, you're not about it, you don't know. Like they're like egging us on, like, yo, let's
It
dance
brings
because it's
people
like this
together.
is my culture. Exactly. So I feel like more so now with like Burna Boy and Wizkid, like all of them, like it's more so them like just celebrating their roots and wanting to share that with everybody no matter what.
That's how it should be. And also just I feel like it's them expanding their target market. You know, they started off just like with one specific group that they wanted to push out, or like they started off following a path to get where they are. But now when they're in those positions, they're trying to, cater to everyone, like you said.
Yeah, I
Like
agree.
like Megan, she's sorry, like Megan, all her like most of her songs are on TikTok now. She became commercial. So it's like they should be able to do what they want.
I agree. They should be able to do what they want. And everything is changing so rapidly that you have to be on that wave with change, or you're going to get left in the dust. Nobody's
Hmm.
going to want to listen to you, or you're going to be forgotten. You have to always adjust and always change, and make sure you're, like you said, you're targeting everyone. You're making music for everyone, not just the group that you started out with, or the group that mainly like gravitated towards whatever art you produce, whether it's music or any type of art that you produce, basically. Yeah.
Hmm.
I think like example, oh,
Go ahead.
I think like examples of these big celebrities and creators like putting out different types of products. For example, is like music. So I remember when the Playboy Cardi album came out, everyone thought it was like trash because it wasn't his organic self, quote unquote. It wasn't him. It wasn't the music that we knew him for. Same thing with Billie Eilish and the same thing with Drake. Like they always, it's so funny because being an artist must be hard since you have people who want you to do the same thing, and you have artists and you have people who want you to stray away from that. So it's like, how do you do a mixture of both? And I feel like they are more successful when they do put out new stuff because and it's like we listen to the album once and we don't like it because it's trash because it's different, and then we listen to it a couple more times and then it starts trending and then we like it now, and then this is so funny how like that system and process works. I feel like when artists do stray away from their organic self and they create more things that they're not used to, but they could like figure themselves out in, like not necessarily producing the same thing over and over, it's better. Honestly, there's no loss in that situation because people are gonna end up liking it anyways. And if people don't like it, then at least you have at least like the half of your audience listening to your music rather than none.
True.
I get that. And I've seen like a lot of artists saying like when they started out and they got their deal, that a lot of times they got told no, that they couldn't do this type of music that they like, or they couldn't produce this type of art that they like because of their record label. But as they start to get more fame, as they started to get more popularity, they started to do things that they feel more comfortable with doing. And that's
Yeah.
how it should be. They should be able to embrace whatever form of art they are comfortable with and without judgment.
And I feel
Like
like
every artist is.
mhm. And also art is appreciated. There's so many people in the world who view art as different things because art is so diverse and complex and simple at the same time. And everyone has their own definition of art, and people could always look at art in a different light. That just gives them a huge audience to like capitalize off of. And on top of that, I like to give an example. Like for example, with Solange and Beyonce, a lot of people love Beyonce because she was making like good type of music with a lot of pop and a lot of rock and not rock, but like pop and good music. But her sister Solange, she was making very like soul music almost and electro. And people didn't, even with Willow was like doing, like she wasn't doing rock before, she was doing pop and now she's doing rock. And they back then they were not recognized for that as much as they are now. Because now people love Solange and now people love Willow Smith. And
Yeah.
before then, they did not like that type of stuff. They did not like that. But I feel like because art is viewed differently and every single day is another trend, and because that trend is always switching up and that change is always happening with generations and their use of new dialect lingo, art, music, all their history and stuff is always changing,
Hmm.
they're gonna have an audience that sees them for them and like that. And then even a person who's not really into that stuff can always say, "Oh, I didn't realize that her music was actually good. Now that I gave it a listen, because I'm used to always just listening to pop. I'm used to always just listening to electro.
Exactly.
So it's
I
like you
feel like
never
that's
know what
so
you like.
true, Max. Like before, like I feel like in high school, like people were only known for listening to one genre, max
One
two.
genre.
And it's like now, like especially with TikTok, like those little snippets of a song, it only gives you like the highlight of the song, not even like the full song. It like makes people more aware of like, damn, there's other types of music out there that like
Exactly.
I never even knew I would actually like or like bump to. It's like it's made people less closed-minded and it's like it's so much better. And I feel
Mhm.
like even movies are starting to truly benefit from that too because it's like they're starting to put a lot more songs that people know rather than just like the olden songs like from like way back in the day like from the
Yeah.
1990s or 1970s or 1960s. It's like more songs now that are popular. Like I love that.
Mhm.
Me, I only used to listen to like these electro beats and like these dubsteps. Like that's it. Like I hated rap. I only listened to classical music and jazz, and that's really it. And now I'm listening to rap. I never thought I would listen to rap. And I'm also from Brooklyn, so in Brooklyn we have drill music, and I used to hate drill music. I don't know why. It's because I didn't like rap. But now that I'm away, and now that I like listen to it more and more and more, and I see it on TikToks and stuff like that, I'm into that, and I love it. I'm happy that it's originated from the city, and I love it. Like this is crazy. I never thought I would like listen to drill music. You never know what you could be into.
That ass. And even the Instagram thingies, like the Instagram like tags where you like put the music. I
Music
love
in
those.
it.
I
Yeah,
screenshot those
because
all the
yeah,
time.
so, and here, let me talk about that because there's a lot of gatekeepers that I would
Ooh,
be like, what is that song that you're playing right now? And
for
people are like,
real.
oh, it didn't come out yet. It's unreleased. I'm sorry, I can't
Fuck
send you the
them.
link. Why are you gatekeeping music? Why are you gatekeeping music? Like, be real with yourself. Send me the link, please. They love doing that. They love gatekeeping stuff that shouldn't be gatekeep. Did you make the? Did you produce it? Were you there in the seat in the chair? Are you on it? Are you featured on it? No. Share the culture, please.
With that being said, I have to end it, guys, because we went a little bit over time, a lot
Oh,
over time. But it was such a good conversation. Thank you so much for being a part of it. And I hope that maybe if I have another project like this, we could do it again.
of
Of
course.
course.
This
Thank
was
you.
fun. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.